Okay, so hopefully what you're gonna see here, I kind of get that set up so you're not gonna see me, but hopefully you're gonna see this heart, and I'll check this every now and then to make sure that you can see this. I want to do a quick little video here. This is a deer heart. This works the same for beef or pork or whatever. The only thing I've done is trimmed off this top, which looked like this. Just take that piece of fatty part off. I decided to make this video after I started doing this, so all I did was trim that off, and this is what I've got left. Now you're gonna notice, yeah, excuse me on that, there's like a little film on this that you can peel off. You don't have to peel this film off, but it can be a little tough, and hopefully you can see this. You see where I'm peeling that. I'm actually gonna make a curry with this deer heart. But this works the same for if you're gonna do a country fried steak, or if you're just gonna cube it up and fry it, or however you're gonna do it. Anyway, I do like to take this little film off, so you'll notice I'm peeling this off. Now, those of you who are on the Facebook page and stuff know that heart is literally my favorite piece of a deer. It's good no matter how you cook it. It tastes like a really mild beef. No gaminess to it, no matter how old the animal or whatever. So always keep those hearts. Give it a shot. Anyway, when you go around through here, if you have to use your knife, just grab that skin a little bit. And again, you can skip this stage. I've done plenty of them without doing this. But I think it just makes them a little more tender. So and just peeling it off, you see it's like a clear film around it, and it peels right off usually. If you don't get it all, don't worry about it. There's a little piece right there. You can see it once you kind of know what to look for. So anyway, so now I've got this heart. Like again, I trimmed off any of this white stuff on here. It's usually pretty tough, so I go ahead and trim that. I'm using a fillet knife, and I'm going to show you why here in just a minute. So when you lay it and you see this white band going down through here, I'm going to kind of take this off just right underneath the skin, because again, that's really tough. So I'm just going to take out that strip. So I've got that off. Then you can kind of follow straight along that line with your knife, and you can break this open. When you go right through there, then you make one cut, you're into this chamber here. So this is what you're going to see. Let me make sure we can see this good. So you can see these connective tissues in here. This is why I'm using the fillet knife. So we've got that chamber open. Now we simply roll it over on its side and do the same thing on the other side. And there we have it open. So you see all these different connective tissues in here. These need to come out. So typically what I like to do is cut this out. Now you've got this section here in the middle. I'll go ahead and take this out. So that's my first piece, was the piece that came off the middle of that. And again, you see, I'm making sure you can see this, these white connective tissues. That's the great thing about a fillet knife, is it's so easy just to go right underneath the skin and take those off. And then what you've got left is this beautiful piece of meat. Now you see here, there's another one of those connective pieces. So just go right, you can lay it over. If you'd prefer to do it like a fish, like you're taking the skin off a fish, just lay it over and do it that way. Just right, you don't have to cut deep. You just basically want to take that off. That connective tissue is just on the very outside. So now you see I have this beautiful piece of meat. That is absolutely, I mean, that is like the best filet mignon you've ever seen. And watch how tender this is. I'll cut this. Look at this. It is just super tender and mild. So I'm cutting it into chunks because I'm going to put it in a curry here in a minute. Basically. Now, what I like to do is I'm making sure everybody can see this. I've got it laid out here, kind of flayed out. So I'm going to take off the next piece. And then again, I'm going to do the same thing. Now back here, I've already peeled that outer skin off. That's what I showed you earlier when I was taking off that skin. Now if there's a little bit of that white, you can trim that off just a little bit. There you go. And then flip it over. Do the same thing along the inside of it. You just want to cut out that connective tissue that's sort of holding the whole thing together and pulling it to contract it and all that. That stuff tends to be really tough. So the other thing is too, you notice that the heart's a real light color. It's not like a lot of the other dark meat on a deer or an elk or what. It's this beautiful piece of meat that just looks and tastes so good. And I know the thought of eating a heart might put some people off. Trust me, it shouldn't. You are going to love this. So, again, here's another gorgeous piece of meat that's so tender. Now, I'll just take this. Now, if I was doing this in country fried steak like I did last week, what I posted the picture of, I would go ahead and pound this lightly. I do like to pound it when I'm doing country fried steak. Just kind of pound it out, and then I would bread it, a little flour on both sides, and fry it. So here we go. We're going on through the heart here. I made me a little cut so it'll lay a little flatter right here. Now, this is a big piece, really too big, so I'm going to cut this in half. Typically, I like to end up with about 4 pieces. So if I was doing country fried steak, you would see those 4 pieces that I had right there would be what I would end up with, and I would just pound them out. Now again, go through here with your knife, just barely right underneath the skin. Cut you a little piece where you can kind of hold it and pull it, and take out this connective tissue right here. And I'll give you a close-up of that here in just a second. This is what I'm cutting out. And you see these little connections here that would attach to both sides and then pull the heart, contract it to pump the blood through. So when I get this off, now this piece is really thick. This is over 1 inch thick right here. For what I'm doing with this curry, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this in half because I want all my pieces to be roughly even. And if you want, you could take off this little outside skin. This was just the part that I really didn't get, the little clear skin. But again, there's some more of those little connections. Take those off. And for this curry that I'm gonna do, I'm just doing about 1/2 inch cubes. But you notice how easy this cuts because it's such a good piece of meat. It just cuts as easy as can be. And I want about 1/2 inch cubes, something like that for what I'm doing here. They don't have to be exact, but so anyway, that's a little video. I'll do this last piece here just so you can see it. A little video on how I prepare these deer hearts. And again, you can cut these into little cubes. You can take these, just what I have here, these little cubes, and roll them in flour and fry them, and they're delicious. That's all it takes. It's the most simple preparation ever. Just take and roll them in a little bit of flour or a little corn meal, a little bit of both, a little garlic powder thrown in there. And that's all it takes. Cut out that skin. There's one more little piece right there. So I'll take that out. Again, that's a little bit thick. So I'll cut that lengthwise, widthwise, whatever. And then I'll come back here. I'll make sure all this white skin's off. I think you're gonna love this cut. And this just goes to show how easy. This is gonna be probably an 8 or 9 minute video, I don't know, but I have broken this heart down, cut it into chunks and everything in less than 10 minutes. That includes taking that little bit of skin off there. So super easy cut, easy to deal with. And look at all that wonderful meat. I've got this whole thing full just off the one heart. So that's well over 1 pound of meat. So anyway, hopefully you all give it a shot and enjoy it. And if you do, post some pictures of it.